One final series today here in the WardiTV Korean Royale, as we have a best of three between the blue Zerg in the bottom right corner from Talon Dark, and the red Protoss from Twisted Minds in the top left, Classic. So yes, one final best of three today. I just want to take a moment to say, if you're watching this on YouTube, do consider liking and subscribing. I'm trying to do a little bit more to push the YouTube numbers again, and those interactions, actually joining the stream with subscriptions and stuff, is so useful. So do check that out for watching this series on YouTube. And of course, if you're watching this on Twitch, follow the channel, all the usual stuff. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here today. What was that song name? If it was the one that was just on before I came out of break, then it's Spring Rollin' by Harris Heller. I'll just write in chat. Something like that. There you go. Alright. Head back into the game and see where we're at here for game number one of this best of three PvZ Classic and Dark. We have a little bit of a spoiler on this in that we know it's a long series because we had to wait around for it to finish before we could go into Cure versus Classic about an hour ago. So we knew that this was taking a while. So at least some portion of this series will take a little bit. We'll figure out when that is and what that is at some point here as our Nexus comes through. Hatchery, pool, a couple of drones all coming up. Everything's fairly regular for the first few minutes on Site Delta, which is our opening map of this best of three. In the group so far, well, Classic just winning out against Ryung in our previous matchup means he's now 3-1, so back into a stable lead in the top of the group. Dark is 2-1, so at the end of the day, Dark will have played one less series than Classic, but has the potential to be 3-1 against 3-2 if he gets the win in this series. Classic can extend it to a 4-1 situation for himself. That'd be really good for Classic, potentially just cruising through towards first place in the group if that is the setup. So this match, I mean, every match in round robin is important, but this match, those are the kind of implications you can be looking at already here on day 3 of the WardiTV Korean Royale, day 2 of this Group A. And then Group A will resume on Tuesday next week, so Tuesday the 21st of May for the next round of matches, and then 28th of May is when the final matches happen for the group stages. So that's where and how and little bits of what is happening across the board. And do you see our probe just getting nibbled at? Is going to get chased away. The couple of lings are going to come around this right-hand side. They're going to try and retake position down this bottom area as the queen is going to be chilling there. A couple of lings will start to nibble onto a set of rocks. Rocks will take a whole bunch of damage, obviously just clearing those out so you don't misclick them later on. This Adept has been kind of off on a journey scouting for anything really, I guess just some lings that are kind of lazing around the map. Kind of weird to see the Adept move in such a way in PvZ. More understandable in other matchups that are maybe more proxy friendly, but for Protoss versus Zerg, you're not going to prox anything as a Zerg, so it's very weird to see the Adept, like I say, just moving around in this way. Definitely a little bit of a strange situation as Adept decides to back it up. We do see Zerglings of Dark are going to come over, and they are going to go eventually find the chance to wrap around an Adept. Just going to run past it and hunt further across the map. But also pick up information here, or get towards the third base. So the units are well positioned for now. Classic is going to be A-OK at making sure Dark cannot break through. No, actually, talk about these guys in Korean Royales, and they've both had good runs at different points. Classic, if I'm not misremembering, was actually in the semi-finals in Season 1, and he was playing against Mario, went to all 5 games, had a 2-1 lead at one point, it was just an epic series. Classic did end up falling there. Did not do as well in Season 2, but Dark did very well in Season 2, after not being knocked out in the semi-finals of Season 1 by Hero in a reverse sweep. In Season 2, Dark went all the way to the finals, and, well, then he got married in that grand final, so unfortunately didn't get much more out of it from there, but that's the story of these guys in the Korean Royale in the past, as Classic loses an Oracle, so that's going to be not super fun. Three drones going down, we just see ourselves, well, more depths coming across, but Madness and Oracle really is just sucky. I mean, if you're going to make 3, you like to have the power of 3. The Oracle and the Adepts just join up together. A little Revelation comes down. Creep spread will get picked off. And the Adepts continue to move through. The Queens are going to be there. Twilight Forge, extra gates coming about. Our melee upgrade building as well. Oracles just going to activate. A couple of drones going to get picked off as well. Plus one and Blink coming through. The extra gateways are building. I mean, obviously, once again, a couple more drones is nice. Does not find a way to commit in with these adepts, which is usually a good thing if you can find a fight with those adepts, because they're kind of made for fighting early on. So actually being able to get to use them for the fight is pretty great. Now they kind of sit back, but how much use will they have deeper in this game unless you can get the, you know, adepts to kind of shade by into mineral lines and stuff? Probably not too much, as the Oracle's still hanging out overhead. Again, plus one on Blink coming through. Robo Facility and Templar Archives building out of Classic. Feelings continue to come about on that right-hand side. Let's continue to move around. Bane Nest coming up. Let's do melee. The Hydra's all coming in. I mean, Classic just moved into Storm, so he's very ready to accept a more macro-focused game here. That Storm will cover him very nicely against Ling, Bane, Hydra, everything that Dark currently has on the way. It's one of those scenarios where the Storms can be good, they can be bad. Things just want to come through. The panel are going to get cancelled. The Oracle's still chilling out overhead. Storm is about halfway done. Again, plus one and Blink continuing through. Ling Hydra still coming about. On plus 2 melee and production as the Adepts. Going to find themselves a third drone right there. Now the Lings are going to wrap around. These Adepts will fall. Still got Storm coming about. Again, plus 1 attack and Blink in production. And more Lings of Dark continue up the left-hand side. They're going to come darting into their base on the left here. Just a few Zealots coming back out as a response. Storm about to be finished, and boy does Classic need it, just because these units are getting to be more and more aggro from Dark, although no bailing speed, so not sure how much he's really going to try and commit here. The Stasis Sword on the right side helps protect in a big way. A lot of these morphing bailings just morphing too far forward are being cancelled. There's a couple of the slow ones actually getting forward, and the Bailing is going to find the High Templar shields. So High Templars are going to be a little bit more exposed now. Going to still be pushing here as Dark. Now High Templar is able to Storm, helps out a little bit more, pushes those Hydras back. Bane's morphing on the right side, still no Bane speed, so it's the slow waddle forward. Well, slow waddle Banelings do not do too much, although don't just give the Zealots up for no reason. Feelings move forward there as well. These Hydras get pushed back. Dark has been fairly committed to this. 69 drones, and Classic's defense puts him in a pretty great spot for the moment, I would say. I mean, he kills off a lot of units here. And yeah, Dark was obviously committing to kind of making units and try and deal damage, and now he's down a lot of supply. Classic just doesn't want to go too quickly across the map, because if his opponent continues to build units, then on creep, might be able to just make a big old defense, right? So that could be a huge deal. Army gathers on the left, plus 1 missiles, Banelings, Lings and a Hydra, still all producing for the moment as our Banes will morph into the upper right-hand side. Gonna go for some rocks. Again, the Stalkers, the Zealots, the High Templar keep on moving around a little bit. A few Lings gonna run in on the left-hand side. Archon morphing as well. We just have this army of Classic gonna come through once again. Zealots are gonna go in after those Zerglings. A couple of Archons trying to lead the charge forward. Banelings are gonna roll forwards as well. Storm's coming down. Lings taking some big hits. Hydras as well. Good damage being done so far. Plus 1 missiles coming through, plus 2 attack, and more High Templars and Zealots all continuing out, as well as the army of Classic settles down on this left-hand side. Hydra and missile upgrade comes through. Extra Banelings morphing in. 7 of them coming up. Dark still trying to find some pings around the map, just running by here, running by there. Trying to find those openings, as we do have Hydras We want to get a catch on a couple of High Templars, so nice little grab. We actually turn these Hydras around. Felt like he wanted to get more High Templar. I'm not sure if that was just a misclick, though. That looked like more than it really was. I think Hydra Queen's still coming about. And we just have those Banes still themselves joining together for the moment. Getting settled here. 2C plus 2 attack coming up on the Forged. A couple more Archons, the Immortal, all building up as well. Just rallying a lot of this out towards the center. Roach Rowan is also in production. So we have 22 more Lings, plus 2 missiles coming up. Ling Hydra will finish off this set of rocks. A whole bunch of additional Banes coming through as we now work on rocks in the middle of the map as well. Let's charge down the right side. Just going to see a couple drones going down. Nothing too major as the Banes roll out to the left. Just moving in towards the mineral line. Bane's still counterattacking too. Zealots will try and take this base on the right side. Classic. Advancing with this army, moving straight down dead center on the map. Archon Stalkers coming forwards here, and it will be able to succeed for the moment here as we just have this push continuing on through. Overlords getting knocked away at. Storms all over the place as we see. The follow-up is looking good from Classic too. The Fleet Beacon and the extra Stargate. Still got Lings over here. The Zealots have stopped dealing with them, however, which is a bit of a shame as Ling Hydra on the flank is actually getting some catches. I still feel like Classic's army is very good, though, in comparison to that of Dark's at the moment. Just about how much chaos Dark can cause. He may just have to be the Chaos Zerg at the moment here. Stalker Archon still continue to fight. Ling Hydra still taking damage. Ling's nibbling at the Nexus. Army still from Classic then looking good. I mean, he lost some probes during this. 54 workers left for him, but like I say, I still kind of like the army that he has. I feel like Dark really has to benefit from chaos at the moment, and maybe that involves counterattacking, trading bases, those sort of things. Rest of the Hydra Roach sticks out over on the right. Plus 3 attack coming through. Alpha coming up, the Immortal on the way. Roaches and the Baneling coming up as well. Still got this army coming about here then. It's going to be a dead Overseer and a supply block for Dark. Dark is running in with Roach Hydra on the left side, and Classic has nothing in position to deal with that, so a few probes going down. On the right side, we're going to get rid of a few more drones as well, and this is just base trade time. Roach Hydra putting in the work on this side of the map. You have an Immortal that just spawned. Honestly, anything you can do to buy time and to slow down the kind of units over here is a big deal. Force Field's obviously a great thing as well. So, Classic's actually pulling back to deal with this. He needs to catch this army, though, if he pulls back, I think. Because he just lost his 4th and his 3rd, and he took out a top upper right base. I mean, Dark is still on 4 bases. Classic did not do enough to just kind of back away and not actually kill this army. This is meant to be him capitalizing by pulling back home. He's meant to be able to clean this up and then maybe continue his push. Not cleaning this up gets me a little bit concerned for Classic, I have to admit. As this feels as though it's kind of gotten away. A couple of units that are catching up are just not really doing too much at all. Classic now going to turn this into a fight onto this base. Dark's just like, yeah, I still can't fight your army, so I'm just going to counterattack again. I think the worst thing that Classic can do right now is to play Ring Around the Rosie again, right? Like, if he goes home and ends up just doing a big circle around the map while Dark just takes time to mine off 4 bases and 63 drones, I think that's a major issue. So Classic, if you're going to come back home, you need to force the fight. He's cleaned out this base, so yes, okay, this time it's only 3 bases from Dark, so it's a little bit better from Classic than what it was last time. You got a bit of a surround coming in. Some of the tech units getting caught, and tech unit kills are big, especially when you're playing a low-tech army like this Zerg Force. Tech unit kills are going to be the secret to seeing success and to kind of staying in this for even longer in the game. Unfortunately, here Dog does bleed out a little bit of the Roach Hydra on the bottom side as well. Guns move through. A couple of Roaches getting knocked down. Hydras as well. Still moving about. We will see a few Zealots are swiping their way over on the right-hand side. Hatchery in trouble. Storm coming out. The Hydra's going to be taking a bit of a clipping. Archons just moving through. Going to start picking away at the extract at the hatchery. Surround on Classic's army, though. It's going to get wiped out, and that's huge for Dog. He may have lost another base, but he's going to wipe out the army. And Classic, can you rebuild from this? Lose everything. Archidra goes across the map. I mean, both players get knocked down to 2 bases. This generally, I think, prefers the Protoss, but the Protoss has no mine, and his army getting reset is obviously extremely expensive. That's something he can't really do much about. Try to back down the bottom. Oracle is just looking around for drones that are long-distance mining, which, to be fair, is a couple of them. I mean, Dark is rebuilding a hatchery, though, and Classic can't really do the same. He doesn't really have the money to, so he's just going to have to long-distance mine himself as he finally gets out of his natural. I think Classic really gave this game away. I think Classic had a lot of good positions in this game. He just made a few bad choices throughout the mid stages. Turns out to be very costly. Another Immortal coming up from Classic. Hatchery still building. Roach Hydra to the upper left-hand side. We'll move around a little bit. Revelation, a little chance to use on a drone there. Oracle still back out on the bottom side. Pushed away as a few more creep teamers are coming up. Portal spawning, Roach Hydra in decent numbers coming around the bottom side as well, by the way, so still on the move. Both these Roaches turning back, and we have Immortals in position. Single Roach going down, Swarm Host building from Dog. I mean, what a great choice. Low eco game. Swarm Hosts are by far and away probably one of the best things you could build here. They're difficult to deal with for the pros. They're hyper efficient. They're great for a low economy. And yeah, Storms can obviously clean them out, but it's not like Classic has access to unlimited Storms. He has a handful of High Templars, and those Storms are very sparing. You're going to have to be very sparingly used. Dark is setting up units to go for an attack here. Getting ready to send this shortly as a few Locusts pop out. Going to start moving forward. Going to begin to knock down a couple of bases we do have. Yes, Nexus taking some damage. Another Storm coming through. The Locusts are going to drop down as well. Dropping into this, couple more Swarm Hosts popping out. Nexus still about to finish up. That's a good force field. Classic absolutely going to fight till the bitter end. Game is close enough to justify it. Nexus is so close to going down. These Locusts might just want to dive bomb it here. High Templars could be in trouble. Obviously worth killing those off. Classic is not really in the business of rebuilding units right now with the economy that he's got, so as the Storms come down, this one's going to be GG's, and Classic is going to take take a loss in game number 1. It felt like he kind of had this, though. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of moments I do it. Game number 2 is going to be between the blue Zerg in the top right Dark and the red Protoss in the bottom left Classic. Let's see who will get the better of game 2. Let's see if Dark can close the series out. Let's see if Classic can get back into it, force a game 3 here today. Little Proby coming across the map. Start us off. As our probe just nibbles away at this mineral line. And if y'all enjoying the Korean Royale, guys, this tournament cannot exist without you guys. So, again, do consider checking if you've got a Prime sub available, subscribing regularly, etc. We would love to try and make a Season 4 of this event happen later this year. That will happen if Season 3 is a success, so sub if you can. Keep on watching, keep on tuning into all the Korean Royale days. We appreciate all of it. Couple Ling's gonna go after the probe. It's probably getting chased away a little here. A little bit of a hunt going on. That probe gets back over towards the natural. And into the mineral line. Oracle coming up, Warp Gate coming through, Ling speed is building. Now Stalker just pinging away at the OV for the moment. Lord can chill out on the high ground for now. Okay, coming through, Oracle is going to pop up, and that is going to be the high ground vision. As the Stalker will get rid of this Overlord in just a sec. Take that down. Dark will be supply blocked. Ling is just out the front into the center. Getting set for a little bit. We're going to take the watchtower as we go. Fairly fast Twilight on the way from Classic. No third Oracle. Might be a aggressive Glaives follow-up then? Possibly. Oracle's coming through, 3 drones going down. I'm just gonna very nearly find another. And there is indeed the Glaives coming up from Classic, okay. 3 bases going to the Glaives. Oracle's gonna return to the center and the Adept will join up onto the central watchtower. Well, this Oracle Revelation allows you to clean out a creep tumor. And now these Adepts will just shade their way up towards the natural expansion. Just move straight across there. A couple Queens going to Revelation as well, so we get to see that a little bit too. Bailing Nest starting, melee upgrade starting. This is not good for Dark. Melee upgrades against Glaives. It's really not ideal, typically. The Bailings can be nice, and especially because this is not going to be with a Prism. All you need is like one decent round of Bailings, and then there's not going to be like continuous warpins of Adepts at least to deal with. Problem is, Glaives is done, the Adepts are here, and the Bailing Nest is still yet to be finished. So this is looking terrible bad, as we're going to cancel the Shade to kill off some Queens. You take those freebies. Queens are actually pretty big DPSs in these versus Adept situations because the fights typically take a while. The Queens will end up doing a lot of damage over time, so knocking those down quickly is good. Now we're going to dive into this mineral line where drones are going to be right in the fray of the action. 11 workers already dropping 13 now. You start to pick off some more of these roaches, some of these Queens going down as well. We shade up into the high ground, 16 drones now killed. Classic is having an extremely successful attack with these Adepts, as Dark was just not ready for it at all. And Classic looking to take us to Game 3. One final map here today. As that road speed finishing up, melee upgrade coming about. That was a neglect wave across the screen there as they shaded from the main of the natural. So many drones going down. We are going to a Game 3 once again. This tournament has so many Game 3s. It's amazing. As our Adepts will be up in the main base, completely uncontested. Even more drones going down. You cannot really deal with that as Dark. GG's, and Classic is going to bring it back to 1-1. It's all level here. Game number 3 of this series for you guys. As in the bottom right, our blue Zerg is going to be Dark from Talon. Top left, our red Protoss. It's Classic. I feel like Classic could have had this series, man, already. Like, game 1 really felt like opportunities abound for him. But well played by Dark to play to his outs. Game 3 of this right now as we see where we're going to go, see what the early game is going to bring us. One probe across the map, not soon enough to block a hatch or anything, so the hatch is allowed onto the natural, no problems there. Is Thursday usually media day for DreamHacks? Yeah, I think so. It's like media day, they do photos and stuff. Players who are qualified. We don't usually do anything on media day for DreamHacks. We usually just do rehearsal. But we have done. We would usually do media days at like Katowice and like Gamers 8 and stuff. Usually have media days, but we haven't really had media. Well, usually they're still combined with rehearsal, though. To be honest, usually we do rehearsal and media day on the same day. We do the double whammy. Overlord heading to the upper left-hand side. Obviously just scouting in at the front. Cybercore, Nexus, both building. Zergling speed on the way from Dark as well. Couple of Queens, nothing too crazy to start us off on Oceanborn, nothing too wild for the first couple of minutes here. Let's get this all underway. You'll probably know today who's in the open stage. No, I'm talking about media days in terms of like the day before DreamHack starts. You know, if DreamHack starts Friday, usually media day is Thursday. I have no idea when they're going to release the open bracket. Although I honestly don't know. I mean, I guess you can kind of be interested in which of the Koreans will make the trip. But honestly, I would just assume everyone's going to be there, to be honest. New to the Wardy community, but love the amount of SC2 streaming. How'd it be here? Hell yeah, man. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Great to see someone new in the chat. That's awesome. Yeah, we're getting back on the grind. We've had a little bit of an inactive year and took a little bit of time out, but we're back. Korean Royale most days the next couple of weeks. Basically, we're streaming most days up until Dallas. We've got a lot of content planned after Dallas as well. Lots of stuff to fill the gaps. So, yeah, stay excited, stay watching. Will DreamHack have on-site casting? Yep, it'll be live from Dallas. As our early game PvZ is just taking some very normal turns. Why don't all Zergs just have a drone follow the first probe? Because you just lose less by microing your drones back onto the mineral patches properly. One drone off the mineral patch the whole time is, yeah, it's just expensive, you know? DreamHack's close to you, but tickets are expensive. Ugh, that sucks. I fly to Dallas on the Wednesday. Yeah, I fly on the Wednesday. We always fly on Wednesdays if we do a Friday event. Because then we have rehearsals on Thursday. That's typically how it works, as these oracles come through for 3 drones. Nice little grab there. Next is still building. Void Ray coming up. Fly Council and Forge coming in as well from Classic, so we get that underways. Very standard. I mean, the Void Ray, a little bit of an odd choice after 2 oracles. I don't think I've seen Void Ray after 2 oracles recently. When's Dallas? It's in like 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks tomorrow, I believe. As Oracles and Adepts move together. I was going to drop a little Revelation in. The Adept's going to get to the front and start to nibble at those Queens and the Crypt Tumors. Come back around into the center. Another Revelation goes down. We have ourselves a bit of creep. Just going to be caught in there. The Queen's going to try and fire onto those Oracles. Yep, still being shoved away for the most part. Additional gates coming up, +1 attack coming through. And that blink coming up as well here from Classics. Still just bringing a lot of this by. Oracles and Adepts continue to come together. Continue to get moving. Make some steps. Onto creep. I mean, I like this. Just revelating to get rid of some more of this creep spread. The more of that you do, the better off I think we're typically going to be. Void Ray will activate onto an Overlord here, and the couple of Queens going to go onto that Void Ray as well. Temple Archives, Robo Facility coming up, and the Void Ray is going to activate onto the Creep Tumor. The Adepts moving through. Revelation to get rid of some creep as well. And +1 and Blink coming about. Robo Facility and Temple Archives coming up. We have a couple of hatcheries still building from docks. Just going to get to the 4th and 5th base at the same time. And with just a fairly regular +1 and Blink on the way, we already see Temple Archives coming through, so Classic does not seem to be in any rush to do anything overly aggressive here. Again, that Temple Archive says, hey, I'm just going to get Storm, utilize the Blink play to kind of get through to Storm comfortably, and just kind of go from there. So like I say, not really like a rush into doing anything super major. That Oracle nearly goes down. There's other Oracle is struggling to figure out a way out as well. Just about going to escape up that right side now, and will be away for the moment. And a bunch of Lings coming about, melee upgrade, Baneling speed, Roach speed. All of that being added through as this Void Ray of Classic comes out through the center of the map as well. We just continue to bring this across. As we will get patrolling one more time. Roach speed and Bane speed coming up, the melee upgrade still coming about as well. And the Lings are going to go make their way around the left here. And Baneling speed will not be too far from being done. Storm is going to be done in a moment. It's a lot of Ling Bane being made. Dark only on 63 drones, so feels like he is ready to hit that aggressive time, and he's ready to say, let's send it, let's do this. So he would really like to kind of get that set up in the next moment or two and just go fighting. Looks like he might go from all different angles, potentially into mineral lines. Don't think we're going to focus on trying to grab the army. In fact, it's only really Storms as the splash damage, so yeah, I guess there's not kind of that like Archon Immortal kind of tanky line that you maybe usually look for. His Banes already roll into the 3rd base. 11 probes going down. Stalkers come back out to the right. Roaches get chased away. These Banelings will be in trouble as well. Oh no, the Baneling's still going on the left, and they caught a bunch of the High Templar. Dark crashes through. 20 probes already going down. A few more Zerglings being cleaned up as well. And that is in the end going to be everything picked off right there. As Dark will be pulled back to the bottom right side. Hydrogen coming up. He's going to go for a follow-up here, but I mean, he's very happy with the damage done, I would imagine, but he's actually down on supply following this. A lot of this was eco-based damage. The army of Classic is still good in size, but I actually don't think it's good in quality. We're missing Storms, we're missing, honestly, more Archons, and we're missing a Zealot frontline. That charge upgrade is just finishing in the next 30 seconds or so. So we're missing a lot of things here that would have made things a lot smoother in the end. That just isn't really here now. So, yeah, things that you could really do with as the Protoss force gathers together once more. Single Zergling getting picked up away, and so we just have ourselves the Stalkers blinking over. Ling goes down. Battery will be put into place as well. We just see more Zerglings making their way back out over to the left-hand side. Again, Doc slowly but surely working his way towards 80 drones, so that number is ever increasing. It's ever getting closer and closer and closer. The rest of these things still joining up together. +2 melee, +1 missiles, grooved spines on the way. The Lurker Den is going to drop down in this main base as well as these Zerglings continue to wander forwards. The Infestation Pit is coming up, will also be finished fairly soon as Stalkers and the Immortal pushing back this group of Lings. Stalkers still fighting, our Ravagers and Lings will continue through. A couple more Stalkers going down. They're ready to potentially make a jump onto this upper side army. Ling Bane push back over on the left side. Bane Archons are going to be able to hunt those Banelings. Because the Baals get rid of the Void, but I don't think the Void is a big deal. The deeper this game goes, it's Classic. Being pretty limited on 4 bases at the moment. Difficult for him to really push out and move out from the 4 base setup. Second Stargate, Fleet Beacon, both will begin here from Classic, so he is ready to tech up. And that's probably the move he needs to make because Lurker Den is about to be done. No Hive, so we're way off those Lurker upgrades, but the general consensus is that Dark is ready to get the Lurker tech online. If he's ready to do that, you need to have a better kind of fighting army, and that's typically not done on the ground when it's against those Lurkers, so that's definitely a big thing to note. As that storm comes through, a bunch of the Lings take damage. This Oracle is still patrolling around just a little bit on the left to see what else is going on. We have got Hive, Spores, all building through, +2 missiles, and +1 Carapace. And Classic will just stay defensive. There's no reason for him to move out. He's on his way to Carriers. He is improving that army. He's got no reason to push out and to go do anything crazy just yet, so he just needs to hang back, chill out, all of that goodness. As a Revelation comes down onto the Ravagers and the Lings. It's got me mesmerized. I don't know why. It's just on a patrol back and forth, but it's just like accidentally starting to go left and right with it. Ling's gonna get an Immortal there. It's a nice grab. Stasis Ward helps protect on the other side. Stalkers would love to be the wall off here against the Banelings, which they are. Only 2 probes lost, and this is a much stronger defense from Classic. That's what you want to be seeing if you're a Classic fan in this game number 3, because that's gonna hold Dog off from being able to do what he would like to hunt for there, which is obviously just finding a whole bunch of probes and all the rest of it. Dark on 5 bases. His setup, comfortable for the moment, is in no pressure until the Protoss feels good enough to get to 5 bases himself. He will start a 6 hatchery, but there's no creep there. There's no real establishment here. This is the sort of base which you might try and get rid of with the Zealots. Classic, but I don't know how you get those Zealots across the map right now because Dark just has that much map control. He sees he sees everything. And he really does see everything as well. Like, Dark is very full of vision right now as those few Lings grab a probe over on the side. The carrier will start to fire a few shots off. Zealots get onto this hatchery. So going to pick through that for the moment. Hatchery goes down. The Lings with a surround, and the Prism loads up in the end. Pulls back over through the bottom side. There's a couple more Spore Crawlers get put into place. Spine Crawlers as well. A couple of Spires going to be added on also here from Dark. So we get all of that being brought up. Immortal, Stalker, High Templar making its way back through the middle of the map. Couple of vials going through, so it's trying to drop off. +3, +2 coming about. We have ourselves the mothership coming in. Spires are building, and we have an opportunity to see what else is going on here. The army on the right-hand side from Classic still getting set up. And Ling's just going to go down this right-hand side. We are going to see more Lings on the left-hand side coming back through as well. Stalker, Archon, Immortal. It's going to come pressing forward. It's going to continue going after these Ravagers. Going to go for a couple of them, so blinking to chase. Again, we've got our Dream Army continuing up from Classic. More carriers, the Mothership on the way. Taking a loss right there. As we have a couple of upgrades still coming through as well. Again, that Mothership and the carriers all coming out. This Mothership will float over to this side, and we could set up some cool plays with that Mothership further down the line. So it's one thing we're definitely going to keep an eye out for. See if we see something neat happen from that at some stage. As our Viper and Spires continue to all build up. +3 melee, +2 carapace coming up. The Burrow is on the way as well. Clean Bane up the right-hand corner is getting ready to move into that 5th base. We have a far left side Nexus getting placed as well. Army still continues to gather together. Well, we do have Archons going to splash through a few of those Banelings. Prism's still out on the far right-hand side. Roaches in the center going to get grabbed as well. Stalker's blinking through. Going to be able to get rid of a bunch of these Ravagers. So, again, taking down heavier, kind of more expensive units. Dark replacing them with Corruptors and so on, though. So it's not like he's just replacing those Ravagers straight up. So at least he's losing expensive units, but going into something different because of the losses. That makes it a little bit more kind of okay for him, right? If you've got a reason to be losing them, then okay, fair enough. Dark does not have a lot of drones, only 69 nice workers left in the game. Typically, a game that's going like this sort of feels as though you want to be 80 plus, feels as though you want to be booming in economy, and he has just added a big round of drones, so I guess he is making the step in that direction. Dark's like, man, Wardy, you are so smart, you are so right, you understand this matchup, you're right, we do need a lot more drones. Yeah, he's going to go all the way to like 83 now. There's also the fact that he's very likely soon going to be building even more of a Spore Crawler wall. So more drones, there's also just going to be more accessibility to more Spore Crawler forest defense. Obviously, you need the money to do that as well. So high drone count to afford that and then rebuild those drones because you're going to use them up and building that as well. 15 minutes in this game right now. And we have a couple of Stargates on the way up still. So Stargate's coming through. The Ultra Cavern is just starting from Dark as well. It's just another tool for him. Another way in which he can run units around and run units into his opponent. Ultras are typically very good at that headbutt style, right? Where they run forwards, headbutting their way into the opposition. And this comes down on the back of the natural. Scepters come by. Just going to get those moving. As you see, +2 armor, +3 attack. All of that coming about here for now as we continue on in. So the ship gets rid of the Overseer in the corner. Carriers join together. Immortals as well. A couple of Queens will continue to fight as the Stalker gets picked off. So Stalker will go down. Tempests are still producing. +3 air weapons, +2 air armor. Continuing to go. 4 more Tempests in production. Protoss army gathers in the center. And with the amount of carriers here, we're getting Tempests added on as well. I like the Tempests because the Tempests are what are able to allow you to kind of fight from far away. So you can actually start picking away at this army instead of forever just being stuck not wanting to attack through. And this is where long games develop in PvZ, because this is where neither player really wants to attack into the other, because the defensive advantage is just a bit too high. And so this is just a slow crawl towards the additional bases, maybe some run-bys here and there. That's going to be the majority of the near future in this game. There's no real reason either player should get caught up in a big old fight. Unless one player really forces something with maybe a cool like Mothership recall move or so. I can't imagine a world where Dark forces a big fight unless he catches Classic's army moving and it's just out of position and he can instigate from a great position. And that's where we set, that's where we are, so you can pretty much tell that this game goes long. Obviously, we kind of know that this game, or at some point, a game in this series goes long, and we're in game 3, so I think it's fair to say that this is the point where this one is going to go long as well. But you can see the setup, right? You can see that why this is going to be long, right? What do you do? What makes Classic want to attack the Zerg right now? Nothing at all, really. Like, really nothing at all. Tanks are building. Yeah, maybe we kind of poke like a couple moves like this, like groups of units. that come around the side and try and get some damage done, for example, is kind of neat, but I feel like that's pretty much all you can do is Storm comes down. Lurk is going to try and bully their way into the upper right-hand side. I mean, what these little moves do, it's not really a little move with that many Lurkers, so we're killing a bunch of stuff. But what these moves do is typically force this Protoss army to reposition, and that potentially opens the doorway to future harassment in the bottom left, for example, right? So this is what Dark's going to do. He's going to force Classic to ping-pong, and he's hoping that at some point Classic will step too far out of position, make too much of a mistake, open the floodgates to Dark, being able to be successfully further aggressive into him. The Nidus network spawns here. We do protect the base. That's obviously the most important part. Classic gets his army back over here. Still has the recall available, so if he needs to do a big reposition, he can do so via Nexus as well. Obviously, Mothership is just with the army, so no crazy Mothership reposition recalls or anything like that just yet. As the Lurkers continue to move over. Yep, there's the Nexus recall. At this point, there's just a big investment here from Dark, so it's kind of correct to, invest a defense yourself and to actually come and deal with this. This is not just like a bit of light harassment you're eventually going to handle. A recall to deal with that is the right choice, as we are going to now see if these Lurkers can succeed. Corrupt is going to find a Tempest out of position, so Dark gets a grab. Now we Mothership recall the defense to the bottom left, and that's, I think, a good combo of moves from Classic, but it leaves him exposed, because now we're on a countdown. On a countdown until he can recall again, and basically until recall is available again, Classic is more exposed than ever before, as these Lurkers are going to burrow up. Batteries, cannons continuing to go down. We do see the army going to come back to the right, so now you just got to run this army here. This way you're hoping your SAC defense essentially just holds for long enough. Queen's going to get grabbed. Have ourselves the few Lurkers though, as they're trying to retreat away, getting caught a little bit. We did not get rid of the base, we got rid of a lot of the static defense, but that can be re-established. The banks are pretty sizable right now. Resources lost a couple thousand better off for Classic than it is for Dark. Lurker's going to get set up, and a couple of these assembly still getting picked away at. And Lurker here, just trying to do some bits and pieces. I mean, we've seen multiple times Lurker's just finding random couple of units. We'll see, this base in the bottom left goes down from Classic, so not an immediate concern, right? This is 6. Yeah, this is 6 bases right now. So yeah, from the moment you don't need to rush to base 7, eventually you do want to mine it, but that's going to be the kind of contest in this game in general, right? This, can you take the 7th base? Can you hold the 7th base if you get it? Can you deny your opponents? Thane's going to get stormed on the way in. Cannons are back up, so not much found here. Again, we just continue to split this map. I like what Dark's doing right now. Classic does not look interested in base 7, so take both bases. You can mine some money off of each of them. That's going to be less resources available to Classic later in the game. Let's you get dive down this ramp. Classic is really not successfully defending 2 positions right now. I understand he wants to keep his army together, but he's not able to deal with the amount of Lurkers moving into positions. See that Nidus network finishes up. We're just going to finish it off. Tempest coming through. The Viper's getting pushed back. Launch engines going down. Cannons and batteries still building. Got a hatchery coming up on this bottom left side, so again, just anything you mine off of this base is generally a win because it's taken away from the chance your opponent can mine it. Anything really counts in that regard. Engine's following other changelings. We do see our lurks moving down the right. Archons, Immortals, Carriers. Actually pushing deep on the creep here. Making some progress. Stasis Ward helping to slow down the Banes on the left side. It's actually going to be a big part of the defense. Probes pull away. Nothing lost, really. Corruptor's going to go up to the top right with the Lurkers in tow. And this is where... Oh my god, that's maybe an overreaction of a storm, but a couple of units over here. We've seen Dog trying to make this play a few times over, and this has been where Classic has kind of stumbled a little bit on the defense, stumbled in finding an answer to this move of Dark, as things again continue to pick away. And I gotta say, it's kind of early in the game already for this to be kind of the thing, but I was gonna say, please let's not lose every single infestor, but that was 3 of them going down. It's kind of early in the game to be saying this, but I feel like Dark is pushing Classic back. Like, Classic stack defense on this left side of the map is being chiseled through. And the closer the Dark gets up the left-hand side, he's going to start really making it difficult for Classic to keep bases alive, production structures alive, and all the rest of it. That is genuinely becoming a bit of a problem. Interceptor's going to start launching a little bit. Another storm coming down. Corruptor's moved back away. Have ourselves 4 more Tempests building from the Stargates. Lurkers burrow up, more Tempests in production. We see again just Dark choosing which side of the map he wants to run his Lurkers into. This time it's going to be the left again. Nihilist Network comes up here, so an escape plan in position so these Lurkers can have the highest chance of survival. And again, just Classic is losing position on this left-hand side. Well, what that means now, we're going to start seeing Classic taking out the right side of Dark. And that's, I think, very important. If you can't hold the left side yourself, take out the right side, get some damage in return, and then maybe take this base for yourself, and maybe that's a base you can start to hold on to. Maybe that's something you get to eventually, as you do have a base here going down. This is not a base to really expand to, though, as Classic. This is the base you can potentially expand to at some point. Okay, well, bases for bases. A few Ultras are kind of diving by as well. This is one of the great things about having these Ultras at this point in time. You can really just run them into bases and try and find a whole bunch with them. Ultras will get chased away. Next on the left side is obviously not going to last much longer either. 13k, 8k is the bank of Classic, 10k, 5k, or 6k or so, the bank of Dark. Classic has more banked up, but of course that doesn't matter if you lose production. Corruptors will be able to caustic spray here. Depends if they want to stick around that long, because it does take a while for them to still get the kills. Lurker is burrowed up. Lurker is picking away at this Nexus. The Ultras are going to get back onto it as well. The Archons still here. The Immortals also coming about for the moment. And this base goes down. This base will be important deeper in the game. There's just no way that this location does not become apparent one more time. Unless this game just doesn't go long enough. Probes pull in here. They're going to die. That's not great. I mean, Classic's losing both sides of this fight. He's losing on the left. He's losing structures and production on the left and right. And that's the issue now. We're actually going to get to a point where we might actually not mine anymore this game. That sounds crazy to call right now, but I don't think mining is going to be much more of a factor. It might just come down to the banks we already have and then very slow mine with low worker counts. From there on out, Classic needs to spend his money. He wants to have as large an army as possible. Dark adding on even more Corruptors at the moment. He has full upgrades. Greatest Fire ready if he wants to make a Broodlord switch as well. I don't even hate Dark losing drones right now, because I think losing drones is honestly going to be just opening the supply gates to let even more army come into play, and I think that may become a huge factor a bit deeper down this line. And Corruptors continue to build. We have Corruptors trying to move around the left-hand side. Zerglings will battle into the third here. I think the biggest issue in games like this, that we've been kind of talking about a little bit, is just losing your structures. Like, anytime Classic wants to do anything, he's going to start losing a base, right? That is the problem I think we get to now is... Yeah, okay, you don't really need those bases, but that you need some structures in the game. And essentially, you do need your production, if nothing else. But of course, if all your production's in the far top left corner of the map, that really limits where you can go with everything else. The Oracles are still alive, 29 minutes into Oceanborn. And that means that they are able to come through, snagging a whole bunch of drones for themselves. 15, 16 drones going down. Good damage done from the Oracles there. It'll be probably the end of these Oracles, which is a bit of a shame because Revelations are still nice, but hey, you got rid of a lot of drones. If that base was allowed to mine, that is maybe one of the bigger issues Classic has. Doc still building up his bank could be a problem. Classic's not even trying Zealot run buys. I don't think Classic has the money to do Zealot run. Well, he has the money, obviously, he's just freaking rich. That's not what I want to say. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say Doc has too much map control, I think, is the problem. Classic's never had the free time to do Zealot run buys, or the money to invest into it, because while he's been rich, he's been spending his money on replacing the defenses on these different bases because they were getting knocked down all the time. That's not to say he didn't have money, but that's to say he felt like he had to commit his supply to that rather than being the aggressor. So it's not about money, it's about finding the time to spend that money on Zealots specifically. I don't think Classic ever really had that because Dark was always in such good control of the left and right side of the map. When was Classic meant to sneak Zealots by? I don't think he would have ever successfully done so. At this point, I mean, Zealots top right might be nice, but Dark's already positioned with units here to root anything anyways. And the problem is now anything you split up is just kind of creating potential free pickings for the Protoss player. For the Zerg player, right? Potentially just something you can jump on, grab a bit of, eat it up, you know, and spit it out the other side. That's basically what you're given if you split anything off to go and attack now. Your bank is big, but it's valuable. You need to hold on to this bank. You need to work with it. You need to get the most value out of it you can. And that's the conundrum that Classic is in, figuring out how to make the absolute most of his bank account at the moment. It's a nice Viper abduct. It does cost you the Viper, but nice little bit of back and forth. The Broodlords actually here, a few of them, and they get eaten up by Tempest. Tempest shots absolutely demolish Broods. Pop the Mothership cloaking there. The Ling Ultra was making some progress in here. There we go, there you go. Some Zealots in the Immortal and the Prism. We'll show up, get a cancel in this base. I think that's very important. These are the locations you can't let Dark mine from. You never fully mined out this base, don't give the money to Dark, right? Try and avoid that at all costs. We are going to see Classic poking potentially down this ramp. That's a wall of Spore Crawlers though, Broodlords, Corruptors, and all sorts. None of it will be allowed to, well, none of it will allow this Protoss army to come in. What are we looking at Spore Crawler-wise? 23, honestly isn't even the craziest of numbers. We do have Tempest that can obviously fight from afar. And that's exactly what they're going to start doing to get some pickoffs. Infestor's going to come lurking forwards, going to look for some Neural Parasites. We don't have a good answer to that either, so those Neurals come down, those Tempests will actually shoot at other Tempests, they're going to get some kills. And obviously those Tempests got flown forward as well, so that's also going to be a pretty sizable factor. Army comes back up the left-hand side, Ling's still out in the middle of the map as well. Ducks are so good. What a great way to drain those bank resources of Classic. Anytime you come in and abduct and just get a kill, that's a little bit more money that Classic could have had for a rebuild later. That is now just gone. And again, we're mining little bits. We're going to be mining off this base soon, but it's a resource game at the end of the day. And those Vipers are creating essentially just less resources for the opponent. But Neural Parasite as well, an Archon that gets grabbed, that will be guaranteed killed. So far, great spellcasting from Dark. I love a lot of what he's been able to do with this, a lot of what he's achieving with it. As the Zerg force turns around once again, more Zerglings actually go running across into the natural here. Cannon battery all going to be in trouble. The Fueling's still moving around. Get rid of the batteries, we get rid of the cannons. Work being done for the moment as more Lings head up into the main base. Again, just picking away the side defense. It's Classic defense down here. There's less units up here to defend the production structures. And if Classic ever loses the production structures, you're not really in a position to like build new ones. Again, that's another way to drain resources. These are investments that have been made earlier in the game. If you have to reinvest into those production structures, that's an expense that currently is not meant to be paid for, right? So that is probably a potentially problem later on as well. Corruptors get rid of both of these oracles. Revelation comes down. Oh, a nice little catch here. Just units defending get picked off. Dark with money to spend himself. He only has 3,000 gas. Dark's gas count is definitely a bit of the problem here. We missed whatever Classic did to get rid of this base. I imagine that was the Zealots coming through and seeing some success. There's honestly a fair amount happening. Usually these PvZs end up kind of stalemated and not a lot going on, but this has been full of movement and full of action. It's definitely not been kind of getting to those calm and more boring states that late game PvZ typically provides. This has actually been a pretty darn cool game. Full set of upgrades, by the way. Look at that production upgrade tab. 33333. Quintuple plus 3 upgrades. So we do have a few lurkers still alive on this left-hand side. Going to go for some static defense, try and break through this base. Classic trying to focus on the right to deny that base, but now realizing he might need to be back down over here. Recall is about 15-20 seconds away from being off cooldown. Well, he's not going to use it for this, but doesn't mean he'll have it in the future. Maybe it does allow him to venture out to the right side more, because then he could recall back down to the bottom left again. Corruptors just took a bunch of Archon splash damage. Two Broodlords turn back around. Dark is out of gas, by the way. 22 Broods on the map. Holy goodness. He has a lot of Broodlords available right now, and they are going to come straight across. And do drop a little storm down. Classic is, again, really you want to defend this base, but I don't know if he necessarily can. There's a couple Zealots over here. There's actually this base up here. The Dark's taking the gases on. Any gas you can take is amazing. There's about 1,000 gas available there. You get that, and that would be amazing. As we do see Fungal Growths coming down. This is going to turn into a fight because Dark has a great jump start on it. However, Storm's coming onto the Broodlords. The Corruptors are figuring out how they are going to engage. The Fungals keep on coming onto this army. The Storms are all across the Brood still, but this Protoss army is going to be in trouble as well. Classic supply is absolutely plummeting. The Broodlords are still good. They took a lot of Storms, but they have survived through it. Neural Parasites on a couple of Immortals. The Protoss air army is gone. 2 carriers remain. That's not going to be a lot. And we are going to see the Broodlords continue to punch on through as Dark is going to break into this left-hand side base, and Classic has to go scarpering away. He is not going to have much left over. He's got money to rebuild with. He has to go to these Stargates and just get the rebuild started. Dark's actually not going to press any further forward just yet. He's going to pull it back. He's completely out of gas, remember. He built all those Broods to allow him to take this fight. All those Infestors are very gas expensive as well. I actually don't know if I love... I don't know if I love the Tempest being remade, but I don't think we killed enough to not rebuild air units. If you kill more on the ground, and you just rebuild ground units from here, I think there's actually some potential hope for Classic, but I don't think he killed enough to do that, and he obviously agrees because he's building Tempests. Knight Templars, Archon Stalkers gathering up. Tempests join in. Healings keep moving around. Spore Crawls coming about. The Lurkers get burrowed. "38 minutes deep on the game right now. As you're just going to see an army of Protoss backing it up. Is getting the chance to spend his money. Dark is going to need to start mining from this upper right side. Classic knows about this base. Again, the problem is, if Classic goes anywhere, the counterattack to take down even more of his final few structures will probably happen. That's going to be tough. Five more Void Rays in production. I actually do not mind the Void Rays. Good choice. Something to support in the skies against those Corruptors, I think, is absolutely a fine choice, honestly. I'm into it. Corruptors move back down to the south. The army's still gathering here from Classic. Extra Voids coming out. The Corruptor's still on the way. Looks like we're going to get one more big fight. Army supplies are still 160 to 162, so yeah, it looks as though we will get one more big fight throughout the course of this game, so that's very exciting. Archon Immortal Tempest moving over to the right-hand side here. Just trying to find a little bit of something extra. Shots coming through across the board. A couple of those drones dropping quickly. Stalkers get rid of this hatchery, and we'll continue back down to the bottom right-hand side again as drones moving about. Have a lot of probes that'll start getting picked away at here as well, so a lot of those probes begin to drop down dead. We have Classic, who is just going to have a Void Ray sniped also. But at the point where those massive banks are gone, this is where, you know, you mentioned an Abduct here, a bit of drained resources there. This is where these could have still been units in the game. This is not a Classic that's maxed out. This is Classic who's just spent anything and everything that he had. And if he'd had anything extra, he would have loved to have been able to spend it right now. So that's why it was so important for Dog to get those little pick-offs earlier and to slowly just chip his way through that army and just to chip his way through that bank account of Classic. That was so very important. Revelations coming down. And Fest is coming about. Queen's coming in. You have an army of Classic is going to make a bit of a dive through the center. Tempest getting some free shots off. A Neural Parasite, though. You cannot afford to lose Tempest like this. We're going to try and get rid of that Infesta. Oh, we are going to lose the Tempest, though. Oh, my goodness. This Infesta. How long is your Neural Parasite, bro? That was insane. He reached so far. Dog to split a few lings off on the counterattack. We'll keep an eye on those as we do have lings. Just going to move through. Up in towards the main base. Classic gets fungled. Those are the sort of moments which are scary. I'm going to get fungled again. Chaining those fungles on the few infestors that still have energy remaining. Trying to find some feedbacks in return. Firing it up. Just going to keep on pushing through. The stack defense is pretty much gone from Dark as well. 154 to 143 supply. Classic is losing his base during this. At some point, he's going to have to go and handle that. No, he might actually lose every single structure here. His base has been chipped away at throughout this game. I think we started talking about that 25 minutes ago. And now you're going to start seeing the problem of having to have your base chipped through the entire way through the game. You're actually starting to run out of structures. Classic needs to take a fight, win the fight, get home and defend his structures. He just has to. He does not really have a choice right now. He is genuinely running out of stuff. As we are going to see a Revelation coming down, we are going to be seeing the Tempest firing up a few more shots. Classic, I know you don't want to kind of mess around. You want to get these Tempests to fire up, but you just got to go. There's not really a choice. You're running out of structures. There's the natural expansion remaining as Classic is going to kind of start pushing on forwards. He's going to take out a base here, but we got to go. Yeah, he's going to have to recall, and he does recall. Oh, no, he doesn't recall everything, though. And this is going to be Dark, who can jump on a half of this army. That is absolutely amazing for Dark, as he is just going to get rid of so many carriers and Tempests for free. Oh, Classic, that was not the recall you wanted, as he is going to lose so much. He comes back with the army. He actually doesn't lose as much as I thought he would, but it is still significant. Dark and Classic are still about 100 supply each, 100 army supply each. Dark's numbers advantage is currently from the... it's currently from the drone count. There's no detection. There's no observer. Oh, no. We actually can't deal with these lurkers, so we really are on a timer. Oh, we can storm the lurkers. Okay, so we do actually have some response to the lurkers. Okay, that's a little bit less concerning. We will get rid of them. That Infest against stormed as well. Not having detection sucks, man. Having to deal with this Infested like burrowed and everything is so annoying. We're just gonna Neural Parasite and Archon. We can't do anything about it apart from run away. At least the Archon won't die. More Infestors gonna look for Neural Parasites. I mean, they can just take their pick as Dark is realizing the lack of detection. Void Rays are gonna be set up, prismatically aligning. They are gonna go kill the mothership. Oh no, that's a minus 400. If I've ever seen one killed by your own Void Rays. Dark absolutely abusing the situation in this game, as we are going to see Classic is going to come through. He's going to try and take one final fight. Corruptors. I mean, honestly, if these Tempests target down the Broodlords, there might be a chance. There's a lot of Immortals that can't really die. We're actually getting rid of the Corruptors. Classic's going to have units left over after this fight, guys. There's Queens in production, but will that be enough? Oh, this is the problem. The Lings are coming. Classic's going to lose because he's going to lose his structures. I actually think he might have won. He had a chance, no? Maybe it's not guaranteed because he still doesn't have detection against Neros, but like there was almost a chance here. Now we have the final structures going down, and Classic is just going to get them target fired, as Dark is just going to go after 4 pylons and assimilator to win this game. A couple of Immortals going down. Neuroparasite coming through. The final pylons are dropping down, and this game is done. Classic gets eliminated. He does sneak the GG in just before elimination, and Dark will close out this series with a 2-1 victory.